And welcome into To Your Health. You know, as we age, there are some telltale signs. Again, that gray hair is starting to pop up. And a lot of times we start to think about the fact that maybe you need glasses because your eyesight's not as good. But a lot of times we think that as we age, that we're going to start to have significant hearing loss. Yes, that can happen, but that's also a myth. And today my guest is Glenda DeRamus. And Glenda, it's so great to have you with us today. And we were talking about that earlier, and that's a myth, isn't it?
It is, Jack. It is a myth. Just because you get old doesn't mean you're going to have hearing aids or you're going to have a hearing loss.
You had a mother-in-law that was 90 what?
98 years old.
98,
and her hearing
never
was
had a
perfect.
hearing aid.
And my mother died at the age of 92, and she never had a hearing problem.
Mm-hmm. So what causes that to happen then normally?
Normally, Jack, it's your environment that you're in, your work environment,
Mm-hmm.
or your just your environment. If you work around loud noises for years, you're definitely going to have a hearing problem.
Mm-hmm. And that could start as early as your 20s, your 30s, and then it gets progressively, the longer you work in that job too.
The longer you work in the job, but it's not going to show up until you get, usually until you get in your late 50s, 60s, or 70s before you really do something about it. Most people wait at least 7 years before they ever take any action to go have a hearing test.
Okay, so what we have to find out now is you say, and one of the things you told me is the quicker you can address the problem, the better off you are, because if you don't, then once you start to have the problem, it'll deteriorate pretty fast then.
That is true. People don't realize that they just wait and wait and wait to get hearing aids, but the sooner, once you recognize you have a hearing loss, it's better to go ahead and get hearing aids, because your hearing aids actually slow down the progression of you losing more hearing. Mm-hmm. So the longer you wait, the worse your hearing can get. But if we can get hearing aids on you when it first starts, we can slow down the progression of your hearing loss.
Right. Well, what are some of the telltale signs that you probably are having hearing loss?
Oh, well, the spouse, being at the spouse,
They make a lot of jokes about that, by the way, but that's good. But they are good signals.
The spouse is having to turn up the TV louder than he or she likes it. The person with the hearing loss is saying that if people would quit mumbling, I could understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times your hearing loss is really recognized by your spouse more than yourself.
And you could be at work, because a lot of times you are working and somebody says something and you didn't pick it up, right?
That's right. And people with a hearing problem think if they would just talk plainer, I could understand them. Mm-hmm. But that's not true. They just need some hearing aids.
Okay. So if this is starting to happen, then basically you need to get your hearing tested. Now I will say this, I go for my regular physicals once a year. Your general practice doctor, he's going to do what I call a superficial test of your hearing. He's not going to be more in depth like you would do more in depth.
What, your doctor? Well, no.
He just makes a little ping noise here and pin this. Okay, you hear that? Can you hear that? But you actually can do a good test, can't you?
Well, I'll do a complete hearing test.
Okay.
Just like if you go to your ENT doctor or an audiologist, I will do a complete hearing test, put you in a soundproof booth, and when I get through, I will know what kind of hearing loss you have and what I can do for you. Mm-hmm.
And you can come directly to you. You don't have to be referred by a doctor.
Oh, absolutely. That's
right. So, and then, of course, like we were just talking before we started, is hearing aids are almost becoming invisible. It's hard to tell that you actually have one on you.
That is true. They've gotten smaller and smaller, and they're just so much more attractive.
Oh, yeah.
People.
And we even have, Glenda was telling me a little early on, this is a new thing here that actually you would stick this on your television, right?
Yes, it's called a SurfLink media, and you plug it into your TV, and it will actually stream the sounds from your TV into your hearing aids.
Okay.
I can remember years ago, my father, when he was alive, he wore hearing aids. Mm-hmm. And I had told him to put a speaker on each side of your lazy boy chair to bring that sound from the TV up to your hearing. Little did I know that one day we would have an instrument that we plug into the TV and it streams the sounds directly into your hearing aids. This is wonderful, people with Jack, for people with profound hearing loss.
Okay.
Especially. It's good for anybody with a hearing loss, but it's especially.
But then they can enjoy the television, and it doesn't have to be too loud, even with the hearing aid that you have on.
That's right, Jack, because what they have their own little remote control.
Right. And they can
so
work
they
with
can
that.
turn the TV up or down.
Speaking of remote controls, this is a neat little thing.
This is a remote control where we can actually stream the sound from your hearing aids into your cell phone.
Okay.
In other words, you can talk on your cell phone hands-free by simply syncing this instrument to your hearing aids.
Yeah, everything is a lot of technology now.
Oh yes, technology has really come a long way.
And then we do have a picture that we did. We did a still shot earlier of just a variety of hearing aids that you have on around the board in front of us here. And those, you can just about do any kind of a hearing aid for just about any kind of a problem that somebody has.
Yes, Jack.
Because it does get custom fit to you, does it not? Yes.
It does. And Jack, there was, I'd say 20 years ago, we could not fit all hearing loss because of different situations. Today, if you have any kind of residual hearing, we can improve your hearing.
Great.
Anybody's.
And one of the things, too, is that you can take care of anybody no matter what their financial position is. You don't have to, because you've got something that's for everyone. So, because a lot of times our viewers might say, well, I heard about hearing aids and they're quite expensive, but you have ways of addressing that at your
We do.
business.
We have hearing aids for people with no credit, zero interest.
Okay.
Everyone's approved.
Good.
So I can fit anyone with hearing aid to fit their budget.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And just remember this, if your hearing starts to go, the quicker that you can have it addressed, the chances are you can maintain good hearing for the rest of your life. And we'll be right back right after this.